Hey, welcome back to my channel where I am solo developing a first-person shooter. In a previous video, I added bullet spread to my gun mechanics. In this video, I'm going to be handling gun recoil. Now, the low poly shooter pack that I was using as a base for my first-person controller doesn't actually come with any recoil on any of the guns. And so to add recoil, the first thing that I needed to do was to create a script which I've called view recoil. And so let's go ahead and open this up. In the script, you can see a number of variables that are required in order to create a recoil mechanic. The first few are public floats related to the amount of kick, and I'm handling recoil for the pitch and the yaw. And so as the player shoots their gun, it's going to be pulling their view upward and side to side. We then need a few variables related to the return. So after they're done shooting, the player will return back to where they were initially aiming. This part actually improves gameplay quite a bit, and it's more or less what you would naturally do when shooting a gun in real life. I don't remember which game it was, but I remember playing a first-person shooter years ago that didn't have a recoil return mechanic, and it just made it more frustrating to deal with when shooting your gun, having it pull your view upward, and then having to manually move your mouse down to go back to where you were. I also have a variable for dampening and a variable for max pitch. And then two vector 2s for convenience. One is for recoil offset and the other is for recoil velocity. Next, I'm going to skip over the late update function. We'll actually talk about this in a second. But here I have a function called add recoil. And this function has a parameter for recoil multiplier in case we want to increase or decrease the amount of recoil we have. But inside this function, the first thing that I'm doing is getting a random yaw value, after which we are adding to the recoil offset in the y direction and the x direction. So I have recoil.y plus equals pitch kick times recoil multiplier, and I have recoil offset.x plus equals yaw times recoil multiplier. I then have a function for convenience called reset recoil. Inside this function, I'm setting the recoil offset equal to 0 and the recoil velocity equal to 0. And then finally, I'm setting the local rotation of our pivot point back to its identity. So with these two functions, I can then scroll back up to the late update function. And inside this function, we're either rotating our pivot point with more recoil, or we're returning it back to its starting rotation. So inside this function, the first thing I'm doing is getting the delta time. I then have a vector 2 for acceleration, and I'm setting it equal to negative return strength minus dampening times recoil velocity. On the next line of code, we're adding to the recoil velocity with plus equals accel times delta time. We're then adding to the recoil offset recoil velocity times delta time. With the next line of code, I'm actually playing around with whether or not I want to clamp the max pitch, but this simply clamps the y component of our recoil offset to be between negative max pitch and positive max pitch. On the last line of code is where we're actually rotating the pivot point, passing in negative recoil offset.y and positive recoil offset.x. The reason why we're switching the y and the x is because the x-axis is what rotates an object up and down, and the y-axis rotates it side to side. Now, to give you an explanation of what's actually happening in this late update function and with the add recoil function, is that whenever we add recoil, our player's pivot just snaps to its new rotation, acting more like the actual kick from a gun. And then from the return strength and the dampening, the player's recoil smoothly returns back to its starting position. And so with the script, I can now go back to the weapon script. And at the top of the script, you can see that I've added a serialized field for view recoil, after which I can scroll down to our fire function. In the fire function, below our if statement where we're handling our bullet spread and accuracy, I have another if statement where I'm checking to see if view recoil is not equal to null. If it's not equal to null, then we want to calculate the recoil multiplier. And this is based on whether or not our player is aiming down their sights or hip firing. If they're aiming down their sights, then we want to have less recoil. And if they're hip firing, then the multiplier is just 1. And then finally, I want to call the add recoil function and pass in the recoil multiplier. Now this makes it so that every time we call the fire function, or in other words, we've fired one bullet, we're going to add recoil to our camera view. So now that I've added this to my weapon script, I can save all my scripts and go back to Unity. Inside Unity, I just want to make sure that I select the first child object to my player prefab, which is the default root, or in other words, the camera pivot. And here I've attached the view recoil script to this object. I've then set the pivot point to this same transform. With this script attached, I can now play my project. And now if I don't touch anything except for the left mouse button, you can see there's a bit of recoil. And there it returns back to normal. Let me do it one more time looking down at the ground, and you can see how the bullets spread upward. I can also adjust some of the variables in the inspector so that we get some crazy recoil. So testing it one more time, let's see how much recoil we have. Whoa, it's all over the place. Now that's everything I'm going to cover in this video on how I added recoil to my first-person shooter. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.